Welcome to my weekly blog. This week's blog is Can You Help Me With My Hair? The helplessness is not in not understanding her question. This is a question that women ask when they are about to lose their hair while living with cancer. This question actually has many layers to it. There might be probably 20 questions in one question that she's asking you. So it's best if you're a friend, a family member, or a salon or a stylist, it's best to be very patient and try to understand what she's asking you because this is not an easy question. What might be registering to you one way may be registering to her in another. This took me years to understand what this question was. This is why I have written this book. I kept my promise. It's a guide into understanding how to understand and cater to a woman who's about to lose her hair while living with cancer. So we'll touch on a couple of things. One thing you need to understand if you're a friend or family member or a hairdresser, this client that's coming to you or your family member, if she has never worn hair before, any type of additional hair. Yes, hair is fashionable. Yes, a lot of women wear additional hair now, but for a lot of women, they have never done this. They don't care for it and they're fearful of it. So you need to understand that just because one person does it doesn't mean that necessarily the other person's going to do it. It's just like using different, some people like Irish Spring and some people like Dove. Same difference. So again, you need to understand if she's never worn hair before, she will be frightened with this. So what steps should she take to prepare herself for this? The main advice I give a lot of clients that call me or hairdressers that call me for advice from all over is to try to get them to get a handle on this. Because before treatment starts, you want to be in control of this. This is something that usually they want to control first. That's why you see them shaving their heads. They want to control it. This is something that they can control. So that's why they shave their head. So it's best before treatment starts to go start finding wig salons that you could try on hair to get adjusted. I would advise someone that's going through this, if they're not ready for it, to go buy a pretty cheap wig and start wearing it around the house just to get adjusted to wearing this and feeling it. Doesn't, have to be perfect. It could be, or, something cheap and she could try it on because you're going to have to adjust to this new life. It's going to be a new temporary life. So I highly advise you to start doing that. What I would not advise is whoever's going to help and aid her to not become overbearing or patronize her or compliment her every 5 seconds when she's trying on hair. She'll be frustrated and she'd rather do without than do with. So you need to stand back, let her do what she has to do, and then she'll let you know if she needs something. So I advise you to do that. So if you're not sure, I will highly advise you to contact the American Cancer Society and to see when they will be having another Look Good, Feel Better program in their area. Because it runs like for an hour and a half, no longer than an hour and a half from what I remember. I used to volunteer for the American Cancer Society. It's an excellent program. They do explain everything. All the participants will receive a gift bag full of makeup and body products, and they'll guide you through each step and show you how important it is to maintain yourself while you're living with this. And they also touch on wigs. They don't touch on too many things with wigs. There's so many things missing with wigs, but they do touch on it. But it's an excellent program if you're not sure. A lot of people are not even aware that this program exists. It's the Look Good, Feel Better program by the American Cancer Society. So if you're not sure and you're frightened, I would advise you to contact them. Let them know which city you're in and county, and if they're holding this, they usually hold them once or twice a month at a certain clinic or hospital. So just let them know where you're getting your treatment and when's the next meeting for the Look Good, Feel Better program. So some things that you need to take into consideration when you're selecting hair, if you're going, because this week's subject is really geared towards the question and the person that's going to help her. So I'm just going to touch on a couple of things. The main thing when selecting new hair is the density. Density plays a big role. So you're not going to look for hair that's going to overwhelm you. What you want to look for is something, whether it could be curly, long, or short. You don't want a lot of hair. That plays with density. So what you want to do is stay with as less hair as possible. Stay from light to medium. Usually light to medium seems like a lot too. So I try to keep the density very light, not very light, but just light, because once the hair is on, it's on, and you're going to have to do a lot of tweaking with it. So less is more. So if, I specialize in custom wig making, so I do have a density chart. So they go from the lightest to the thickest. I usually stay here. I only use these for temple areas and perimeters because that's where the hair loses, the shedding of the hair is the most. So this is what a density chart looks like. When you're deciding to pick hair, when you're going with your friend and she's not sure, try on at least 4 wigs. Also, start looking at hairstyles that you fantasized about that you wanted to try on. It's only temporary, so it's not forever. So try something that you've been fantasizing about. Stay within the realm of reality. Don't try to, if you were a blonde, don't try to pick something that's jet black, because I don't know, it might not be you. But I do advise you to stay within your own realm, but just add some life to it. And of course, hair comes in different shades, a lot of different shades. You can have natural shades, or you can have fantasy shades. So I advise you to play. It's up to you. Now, you could also have gray. A lot of people, I don't want gray, I don't want gray, I don't want gray. Once I put a strip of gray, they love it. So that's it. The other thing I advise you to do is when you're selecting hair, make sure you get hair that has highlights in it, not hair that is ashy, and you want bright looking hair. If you were a brunette and you want to stay within being a brunette, I do advise you to get some color in the hair, some highlights. If you're trying on synthetic wigs, there's thousands of synthetic wigs out there with many styles and a lot of color. Just try something on. Try the one that matches you, that looks like you, but then try the one with color, and you're going to see how it's going to alter your face, because you want your eyes to be bright and your cheeks to go, your face to go. So while you're going through this, I advise you to get hair with color in it. Again, density plays a big role in additional hair. So try to stick with a unit that has less hair. And just play with the colors. You'll love it. Just play with something with highlights in it, or purple or lavender or something. You'll love it. It's temporary. It's not forever. So where should you go? I will start off at the trying going to wig salons first, because what you want to do is gain control. Before any of this happens, you want control. You want to be in control. You do not want to wait till you start getting your treatments and then a week or two later after treatment, your hair starts coming out and then you're panicking because you haven't been accepting of this. You will need to be accepting of this right away. It's going to happen. Whether you like it or not, it's going to happen, and you have to be strong and grab the bull by the horns and say, I'm going to run this show. So before anything starts happening, I would highly advise you to look at styles that you've been admiring and like and go trying them on at a wig salon. It will be fun. And go, you don't have to bring everybody with you. Just bring somebody that finds it as interesting as you to go. And that way it won't be so daunting on you, and you'll end up having fun. So I advise you to do this so you could gain control of this before anything happens. A lot of clients that I've encountered in the past, they wait till the hair starts coming all out and then they make a decision to go buy hair, and then the emotions are running high. They've started treatment and there's a lot going on. So I best advise you to start this prior to treatment. If you're going to start treatment in a month, I would advise you to start looking for your hair a month in advance and trying things on, so psychologically you can be accepting of it, because it is coming, it will happen, and you're going to really, it's just rough. I've experienced it in my salon. This is the room where I put the hair on all my clients. This is my work room. So I will be speaking from here every week, once a week, touching on the subject, understanding and catering to a woman who's losing her hair while living with cancer. I am the author of I Kept My Promise. My book is in 3 parts. My book is my story and how I handle my clientele, how I got into the business. I've been in the business 25 plus years. It's a guide to salons and hairdressers, and it's also has references of all the doctors and books, majority of the doctors in the books that I have read and I have admired, because in order for me to understand my client that's going through chemo, I need to understand every facet she's living with in order for me to properly handle her when I'm adding additional hair. In the beginning, I thought, I'm just adding hair, and I did not realize there were so many layers to adding hair. And majority of the layers is not understanding what she was going through. Was I studying to become a doctor? No, I was studying to understand my client. And trust me, it benefited me. And if it benefited me, it will benefit you as a stylist or hairdresser. You have to be very patient with this client. This is not something, when you sell hair to her, it's not going to be like you're going to get all this adulation. There's a lot of emotions going on with her in this room, and you're not quite prepared for them, because all you're thinking about is you're applying hair and she's going to give you a good report. Do not expect a good report. It's not coming. She'll give you the good report 4 or 5 months down the line. But at that moment, don't expect it, because it's not coming. I explained it in my book, I Kept My Promise. So I didn't mean to segue, but I had to touch on that. So for the person or friend trying to help their friend out, please try to go and get a handle on this right away. Do not wait till the doctor gives you the prescription and then you have to go look for hair because it's coming out in 2 weeks. No, you want to have at least a 6 to 8 week window and become psychologically prepared. I will touch on when the hair sheds and comes off on another video, but for right now I wanted to keep it short and sweet. You can follow me on Instagram at Hair Loss Solutions by Oz. You can follow my business page, Ozzy Vera, and LinkedIn. You can follow me on Ozzy's Hair Art and Facebook and like it. If you are in need, if you're a salon or stylist in need of understanding this client that's losing her hair while living with cancer, you can contact me at info@ozzieshairart.info. I do private consultations in groups. I wish when I got into the business early in the business, I've been I've been self-employed well over 16 years in my own business, and I am a solo hairdresser, so I understand everything you're going through. I wish I had a book to guide me when I started Additional Hair, because it was so confusing. I was more excited that I was doing this than not studying all the other layers that were coming along, because there's many handbags that are going to come along with this Additional Hair, and you need to be well equipped and understand them to the point that it's like a normal day for you. This client is not a difficult client. You just need a lot of patience with yourself, not with her, with yourself. You're going to have patience with her, but trust me, if you follow through with how I advise you as a salon and hairdresser, this will run so smoothly. You'll feel she's in the salon for 5 minutes, because in the beginning, this was like an hour, 2 hours, almost 3 hours just after she's put her hair on. So, and a lot was going on in my head. She has the hair on her head. What's going on? It wasn't that she had the hair on her. I didn't understand all the layers that were going on. There was many things she was asking herself and looking for answers for when she had the hair on. And I touch on all of that in my book, I Kept My Promise. Again, my book is I Kept My Promise. It's in 3 parts. It's my story. It's a guide for salons and hairdressers. And it's references into understanding your client and all the research that I did in order to understand my client with all the doctors and journals that I've read. If I never listened to the doctor's lectures or anything, I would not understand my client or anything she was going through. I would just be thinking it's another day at the office and she got her hair and goodbye. That's not what this is about. If you're going to help and assist this client, you need to understand everything that she's going through and be well equipped, so when she comes in, she's a normal client. She's not a client in a cage. I'm warning you. She is not a client in a cage. She'll be a regular client. And if this client loves me, I know she's going to love you too. So again, you could contact me for advice at info@ozzieshairart.info. I am available to salons and hairdressers to consult them. And I'm ending this right now. Thank you. Be on the lookout for my forthcoming book, I Kept My Promise. I will let you know when the date is available. It's I Kept My Promise by Ozzie Vera. All right? Thank you.